systems needs with labor market realities and education capacities. Thank you.
That is great to hear. Thank you so much, Sana, for sharing that with us. And Xavier, please, let's hear from you about what the government of France is proposing.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to address this panel. I'm very happy to do so. The World Summit is really an incredible occasion of meeting people, of sharing ideas and perspective. The projects we proposed on the platform for solutions, some of them were dealing with skills development and employment policy. Because getting a decent job opportunity for everyone is really key for inclusion and to leave no one behind. So skills development. I will speak from the point of view, from the vision of a government, the government of France, where we have a policy which has been implemented for years, of course, for decades, in employment and skills, but which has taken a new form, a new impetus with first action of the legislation. We have a law on full employment. We also have another law on the right to choose one's training, freedom of choice, and that is very important. So to give people a variety of opportunities. And first, it's a legislation, but second, it's action. Action means to have plans. We need to plan for a couple of years the action we implement, and we have the employment and skills engagement. Engagement means engagement of the state. The state is funding this program. Every year it gives 15 million euros for this, but also with partners, employers, the industry, and also the private sector. The private sector and the trade unions. So that's very important. And this engagement means that we deliver plans with new initiatives dealing with the challenges faced towards the main mutations of the labor market, affected by the ecological transition, the demographic transition, youth unemployment, this is key, but also the position of senior workers, which are very much excluded at the end of a career because the changes are so rapid. And so that's what we do with this plan, and but it's in sort of a package where we have a broader project, which is called the skills investment plan. And this time it's not 15 million, it's 15 billion euros that it's put to offer new forms of training, opportunities, individual support. That's very important to tackle the real problem of each individual, whether you live in an urban area, in rural area, everywhere, and this is or your origin or etc. So that's main features of this program, but I could say more if you wish.
Thank you so much for sharing. It sounds comprehensive already, but we'll get to more depth about that in a little bit. But first, let's hear from Moaz about what's going on in the Arab states and your work with UN Women.
Thank you very much for inviting us, and good afternoon to all. Indeed, one of UN Women's top priorities in the Arab region is to solve one of the most persistent problems in this region and globally, which is the low levels of women's labor force participation. It's a global problem, but in the Arab countries, it takes one of its most extreme manifestations. Because for the past 3 decades, women's labor force participation in the Middle East and North Africa has stagnated around 20%. That is nearly half the global levels. And the objective of the solution we are working on with partners is to increase this labor force participation of women by 5 percentage points in 5 years. It is under an initiative we call Surge in Women Employment Initiative, SWAY, with an E and an I at the end. And it is to address and overcome also a persistent paradox in the Middle East and North Africa in MENA, which is the paradox, the contrast between women's capabilities that have advanced very rapidly through educational attainment primarily, and their the backlog of their employment. So women's capabilities have advanced because women's illiteracy has been halved in the last 2 decades. And today there are more women than men in universities. And 57% of STEM graduates in MENA are women. The majority are women. But then when you come to the workforce, still labor force participation on average across the region is at 20%. There are exceptions like Qatar, where it is 63%, so nearly threefold the regional average. And to solve the problem, our solution is focusing on 3 sectors, 3 growth economies. The first is STEM, because women are more represented in terms of STEM education, but also in terms of entrepreneurship. For example, with respect to technology, there are more women tech entrepreneurs in MENA in terms of a percentage than in Silicon Valley. The other growth area is the green economy, to address both environmental concerns and women's employment concerns, and it covers the entire spectrum of the value chain, empowering women from access to finance to sales, including both in domestic and external markets. But the third economy we are focusing on is the care economy, because women constitute the majority of employees in the care economy, and also care services such as daycare services free women to enter the labor force. And we are doing that by addressing 3 dimensions of both overcoming obstacles and enabling women. These 3 dimensions are first macroeconomic and investment policies to be labor intensive for women, an area that we are very keen to cooperate with ILO on. And the second area is laws, and not only formulation of laws, which is the easy part, but implementation and application of laws. And the third area, most challenging, is advancing norms and behaviors through a program we call Dare to Care, which includes, for example, men taking up a larger share of domestic work. Currently, women take up 4.7 hours of domestic unpaid work compared to just 1 hour that men take up. Not me, I take up a lot of domestic work. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Moaz, for sharing all of that. I think I'd like to challenge each of you to tell us what is the single most innovative feature of each of your new initiatives. So Sana, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for this question. I would say that I have 2 things in mind. First is something that is not so innovative, but is so crucial. So I would like to mention it, the political traction. If we want to foster this kind of very important challenges, which is elevating the number of health workers, making sure that we have enough health workers just to reach the sustainable goals, we need to have this political traction. And this is why we commended the initiative of the UN Secretary General to focus on this important challenge and to task head of states, ministers, Nobel Prizes, and ministers from different backgrounds. I mean, just not only one siloed sector, which might be health or education or labor or economy or gender activities and focuses. No, we need a whole of government approach that is supported at the political level. So it is something that was really a game changer for us. And the main other old-fashioned innovation is collaboration. So I have to say that this collaboration with ILO, OECD, and WHO is quite unique. It connects health, labor, and economic perspectives from the research, evidence-based work to the implementation of activities and technical assistance provided to the government. And we are not so used to do so within the UN system. We have to admit that. And I would love to embark now UN Women with us in many countries, and particularly MENA region, because indeed we have so many things to do. So I have already my own homework for next stage. Thank you.
Thank you. And Javier, over to you. What would you think is the most innovative feature?
Yes, as regards innovation, probably one of the key things, and that's what I said earlier, is to have really tailored a skills approach. It means that all the needs are not the same. It depends of your age, it depends of your education, it depends of your situation, personal feelings, and also your choice. What do you want to do in the future? We know that now that people will change their jobs during their lifetime, so you can reskill, upskill, and radically change your path. And one of the main innovation has been the introduction of an individual training account in France. It means that every year, every worker gets in the form of money on an account. It's, to give a number, it's 500 euros, something like maybe a little bit more in dollars, and up to a total of 5,000 on your account. And when you're a young person, it's not 500, it's 800. And with this, you can choose exactly individually, because many skills opportunities are supply driven, but they don't always fit with what you really need or what you really want to choose. And I think this is a big success. So we have now, it's generalized. Now all workers now benefit from this. And for instance, it can be something very simple, to get a driving license. I don't find a job. I have skills. I'm able to do many jobs, but I cannot get to the to the job because I can't drive, and and there is no train or no public transportation, and just getting a driving license to allow this is a real freedom. This is just an example, but of course it can be many different things, and I think that's you need always to think about the expectations of the beneficiaries of policies. And sometimes, the policy are very well designed and comprehensive, but they don't go to the target. And so it's always very important to know the target, to identify the needs, and to try to respond as best as possible.
Great, thank you so much. Moaz, when it comes to innovation, you mentioned this issue of sharing the household labor with men and women, but is there anything else innovative in this plan?
Perhaps that's innovative at the household level, and it should have existed, this sharing of unpaid care work forever. But I think at the macro strategic level, A key aspect of the innovation of SWAY is its holistic approach. I mentioned three economies: STEM, care, and green economy, in three dimensions, which is advancing policies, macroeconomic policies, it's advancing laws, and it's advancing norms, but also holistic in terms of partnerships. Because central to that joint effort is the partnership with governments, where in the four countries where we are piloting and starting this, the governments themselves, and we worked with them to set targets in their national plans to reach or exceed this increase in women's labor force participation. But in addition to that partnership with private sector, we have about 800 companies across the region who subscribe to UN women's empowerment principles, which include increasing employment of women in their areas, then partnerships with other UN sister agencies and with champions of women empowerment such as France. In fact, I just came from a meeting with the Agence France de Développement, and before it with the Islamic Development Bank. The Islamic Development Bank is investing through parallel credit lines and concessionary loans about $250 million to finance this effort in Tunisia and Jordan for starters, and will go beyond. As a reflection of this holistic approach, and to relate to the topic of the summit here, this SWAY initiative will address and accelerate the implementation of SDG 5 on gender equality, of this SDG 8 on decent work and growth, of SDG 10 on inequalities, and also of the SDG on climate change and environment through the green economy aspect.
Thank you. We love to hear about all of that interconnectedness of the SDGs. Thank you for sharing that with us. But I'd like to move now to accountability. It's been great to hear about these grand plans, but what I'd like to ask each of you is where will we be in 1 year from now? What will you bring to show everyone gathered here at the summit? Sana.
Thank you. So for us, it's quite clear we need to address the gap when it comes to the foreseen shortage of 11 million health workers. But of course, we truly realize that we are doing something that is about building resilient societies, bringing social justice, about advancing gender equality, promoting social dialogue and sharing in coherent development and economical social levels. And from now, we know that we have this this multiplier effect, and we have already supported 28 countries so far, creating 300,000 new jobs, catalyzing $385 million US. We need more. We need to do more, and I hope that the momentum created by the summit will generate new activities or new support on the political level. We need the political traction. We need the recognition of the importance of the topic. New partnerships. We need to strengthen our collaboration to make sure that we address also policy coherence when we provide technical assistance to any partner. And we need, of course, some interesting fuel, which is money, to deliver. And this is also, I would like also to do the link with what the Director General of the ILO has also created. I am humbly supporting him on this with the Global Coalition for Social Justice, which gather 400 partners across the UN system, governments, social partners, international and regional organizations, civil society. And this is how we also try to support the delivery of this summit by catalyzing efforts of partners to make it happen on the social dimension of sustainable development, which should be elevated at the same level as the economical one and the just transition environmental one.
Thank you, Sana.
See you in 1 year.
See you in 1 year. Yes. Xavier, where will we be in 1 year with your project?
Yes, I think the occasion of the World Summit is really a great opportunity to see where we are, the challenges, and the challenges are remaining very difficult. We heard this morning strong speeches from the UN Secretary General and from the Emir of Qatar, and that the situation is serious everywhere. The challenges, the mutations are huge. Poverty reduction is a key priority, fight against exclusion. And so the question is how to adapt our policies at national and at multilateral level. And we always in France are very keen to design the policies also in the format of the multilateralism. Sana spoke about the global coalition. I think this is key. This is a really key issue because you have all the partners worldwide. You have other tools like the global accelerator on jobs and social protection. And also we are very involved in these large-scale projects. It's more than projects. It's sort of common in future in common. and at national level and local level, also we need to adapt the targets. Always our programs are flexible. They need to be very precisely assessed. Do we reach the target? Do we do the right thing at the right moment? And so adaptation. And I would just mention something else which is very important for us. It's international cooperation. We need to have program at multilateral level and bilaterally. And together, Agence Française de Développement, for example, was mentioned, but other tools, we really would like next year to have more project of cooperation in the field of skills development, because we speak about skills development. And we know there are no model, there's not one unique model. There are different approaches. There are different, of course, domestic situation, socio-economic environment. But I think if we find the right tools that are flexible enough and have the capability to be adapted, I think we will go further. And next year, hopefully, and maybe in 35 years also, we will make a good bilan of what has been done.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Moaz, accountability, over to you.
And thank you very much for raising the accountability question. The crux of the accountability around the SWAY is that it has a concrete, tangible, time-bound target. Over 5 years, 450,000 jobs. So by this coming year, you should expect 45,000 jobs, more at least, and then it builds up in an extrapolated way. But I have to say this accountability is indeed our accountability as UN Women, but it's also very much an accountability shared with the countries and the governments that, as I mentioned, already have in their national plans, whether national development plans or national plans for women's empowerment, such targets that they are accountable for with us and with the other partners. But my final point, and as an old-timer working in the UN system, often it is stressed the importance of political commitment. And indeed, political commitment is a necessary element for advancing development. But it's insufficient except if it is coupled, combined with accountability mechanisms and methods and instruments to monitor such accountability towards implementing agreed commitments, including the Sustainable Development Goals.
Excellent, thank you. And I think I would like to conclude by offering a speed round to you panelists. And I would love to hear your one-sentence call to action for either private sector, governments, other organizations of what you would like to see from them. Please.
You are asking me to put in one sentence what I'm trying to say since the beginning of this sequence. So for us, basically, social development is the beating heart of what the UN system is trying to achieve. Social justice is the right pathway. We truly believe in this mandate within the ILO, and we also truly believe in collaboration. It should be obviously always a country-led initiative when it comes to the action on the ground, but we need also to build the way to serve better all the partners. When I say it nationally and country-owned, it should be not only the government, but also the social partners that are very dear to us as well within the ILO. And if you have the vision, if you recognize the issue, we are here to serve you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sana. Xavier.
I would say in one or two words, mutual understanding and cooperation, and for peace and justice and social justice.
Thank you, yes.
Yes, what we count on governments and partners for are conducive macroeconomic and investment policies to enhance women's employment, conducive laws and their implementation, because laws only remain ink on paper without being applied and implemented, and then support towards advancing norms that allow women to optimize and balance between their responsibilities in their private space, meaning families and household, with their opportunities in their public space, meaning labor, participation, professions, and careers.
Well, Sana, Xavier, Moaz, thank you so much for all of your work to make these commitments, and also for being here with us today. And for everyone watching here in person and at home, you can find out more on the summit website, and we will be back with more sessions talking about all of these solutions throughout the summit. Thank you.